Hello there, boxing fans. Thank you for joining me once again here on Talk and Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today. I want to start off with a heartfelt congratulations to our Talk and Fight team, who for the first time live streamed an event from the Netherlands. They did David Verjulie's live weigh-in, which took place over in Holland. And congratulations to all who not only watched it, but all the production efforts and graphic efforts that went on behind the scenes to make that a reality in setting up the live streaming of his actual fight and a few other fights in that venue tomorrow. So congratulations to them, and I think that's news because that's the first time we've ever done such a thing. So we've made a little bit of Talk and Fight history. All right, let's move on to the headlines of the day. Kenny Robles going toe-to-toe against James Bernardin, and that's going to take place at the 2300 Arena tonight in Philadelphia. So once again, Philadelphia taking its place among legendary boxers coming out of that city with another fight. An action-packed 4-bout card is set to take place, being promoted by King's Promotions once again. An intriguing 8-round junior welterweight clash between Kenny Robles and undefeated James Bernardin will headline the card in a bout for the NBA America's junior welterweight title. Robles is fighting out of Staten Island, has a record of 9-1, and he's previously won over undefeated Sean West, and is coming off an 8-round unanimous decision over Name Nelson. They fought back in March in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Speaking of Pennsylvania, Bernardin is out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and he's 6-1 with 4 knockouts. So that's going to be a good bout, absolutely. Taking place down in Philadelphia. Maybe our own Tim Witherspoon will be in attendance as he was last week to see Sonny Conto's knockout. Also seeing action tonight down in Philly on that card. There's an 8-round lightweight bout with Victor Padilla taking on Jesus Perez. He's fighting out of Sinaloa, Mexico. Padilla's out of Philadelphia, 9-0 record with 8 knockouts, by the way. So that should be a good clash. Also on the card, we'll see a 6-round bout. Junior middleweight James Martin of Philadelphia taking on Lukas Barabats out of Poland. Good for him. Seeing action in another 4-round bout will be undefeated King's Promotion welterweight Tanjay Teasley out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, taking on Jeter Burgos out of Bronx, New York. All good stuff. The weigh-ins take place later this afternoon at the Clarion Hotel in Essington, Pennsylvania. And that'll be shown. Oh, no, it's not being shown. Maybe we can offer them a live stream of that, seeing now how good we are at it. All right, moving along. Let's go over to Plant City, Florida, where Michael Duchover is going to take on Clarence Booth. That's the Last Chance tournament, as I said, taking place in Plant City, Florida, also tonight. Junior welterweight Michael Duchover, it's 15-2 with 10 knockouts, will take part in the Last Chance tournament when he battles veteran Clarence Booth, who's 21-4 with 13 knockouts in a scheduled 8-rounder. It'll be great to get under the bright lights again. I miss that feeling, said the 24-year-old Duchover. We're taking this one fight at a time, and we have Booth in front of us on Friday. That's today. On Booth, he said he has good fights under his belt. He's been with some good contenders. I've studied some film on him, and I'm looking forward to imposing my will on him. I am ready to go. We'll see how that fares. All right, Caribe Royale in Orlando is going to see Sean Mason take on Carlos Matos Ramirez. A plethora of talented young prospects will be featured on Saturdays tomorrow night at the Caribe Royale in Florida as part of the Bally Sports Presents Enterbox Championship Boxing Undercard. Lightweight Sean Untouchable Mason risks his perfect record against Carlos Matos Ramirez of Puerto Rico in a 6-rounder. Fighting out of nearby Almonte Springs, Florida, Mason's 8-0 record with 6 wins by knockout is on the line. And on March 26th, by the way, Mason entertained his large group of supporters by knocking out Omar Garcia inside of 2 rounds. Also on the card, Joseph Blessed Hands Adorno, 14-1-2, is taking on Juan Santiago in an 8-round contest. And junior middleweight and hometown favorite Derek Jackson risks his 7-0 record when he faces once beaten Jesus Silva, who's 6-1 in a 6-round affair. We're also going to see 2020 Dominican Olympian Alexi De La Cruz, who's now 1-0 with 1 knockout, take on Ralph Carville in a 4-round lightweight contest. And middleweight Jamar Pemberton out of St. Louis, Missouri, makes his pro debut against 19-fight veteran George Shepard in a 4-round contest. Wow. Pemberton was rated as a top 5 fighter by USA Boxing during the last 7 years of his amateur career and won a silver medal at the 2021 Boxing Championship. So look forward to a good result there. Redland, California's Elijah Two-Tech Flores looks to go 3-0 when he meets Kobe Bowen in a welterweight contest scheduled for 4 rounds. The 18-year-old Flores most recently scored a second-round knockout of Ashton Royal in March. So some good stuff going on down there in Florida this weekend for sure. Check it out. Newly crowned North American Boxing Associate NABA Super Flyweight Champion John Scrappy Ramirez, 10-0 with 8 knockouts, made a major statement last Saturday night in a DAZN opening bout in the Zurdo Ramirez Dominican Buzel card. And it's obviously a result I forgot to mention. I'm being reminded now to announce the result. This was a fight presented by Golden Boy Promotions and associated with Zurdo Promotions, live from the Toyota Arena in Ontario, California last weekend. Ramirez's statement was, "I'm here to take over." Fair enough. The 25-year-old Ramirez, fighting out of nearby East Los Angeles, patiently set up his Mexican opponent, Jan Salvatierra, until exploding midway through the opening round when he landed a powerful right hook that wobbled Salvatierra. Ramirez showed poise beyond his years, blinding Salvatierra with a jab and following with a straight right that landed on the button, which not only dropped his 8-1 foe, but knocked him right out of the ring in an instant knockout of the year candidate of 2:25 of round 1. All right, so I guess this is directed not only at me in terms of newsworthy events, but also I should forward this along to our other boys at the Talking Fight Network so that they know that they have a knockout of the year candidate that they should be looking at. Speaking of knockouts, that's O2 Arena in London, England, where Joshua Buatsi is going toe-to-toe this weekend, tomorrow night, up against his opponent, Craig Richards. And here's a couple of quotes from Buatsi. "I think there's always people to prove wrong, Eddie." Talking to Eddie Hearn. "The talking is nearly done. We're going to find out on Saturday. The switch hasn't flicked yet. I don't think it's personally flicked during that face-off, but we are 2 or 3 days away from when the switch will definitely flick." What the heck's he talking about? "The struggle from camp, I've got that in me, and I know how I want to perform on Saturday, and it's time to show it because camp was really hard. I paid the price, but someone has to pay it now." Okay, this is really hard to read. The way that life is now, I go anywhere I need to go to improve. It happened to be in the States, it happened to be in California, and that's where I'm at. We all have one career, so whatever I have to be, that's where I have to be. My family, my friends understand that when it's all over, we can party and we can celebrate, but for now, Saturday is what's next. Every boxer has got an ego, everyone sitting at this table has an ego, and everyone wants to win. Who here wants to go into a fight and lose? No hands. See what I'm saying? I win by being myself. You can look at the stats and say, oh, this is how he usually wins. This is the style that he fights. But I'm going to bring it, and I'm in it to win it. There's no other way. That's courtesy of Joshua Buatsi. One of our favorites, by the way, here on Talking Fight. And we look forward to that result going forward against Craig Richards, also fighting that night, tomorrow night. Chantelle Cameron. She's going toe-to-toe against Victoria Bustos. Chantelle said, I know this is going to be a tough fight, but that's what I want. I want tough fights. I want to prove that I'm a worthy world champion. If the stoppage comes, it'll be nice. I'm hitting harder and I'm fitter. We've been working on a few tactics, and I think that my punches are going to be a bit more hurtful. Yeah. Victoria, by the way, said, whenever I prepare for a fight, I prepare really, really well, and we have prepared excellently. I think the fight is going to be fantastic. On the side, I think it's going to be quite strategic and tactical, you know. Whenever I've been called upon for an opportunity, I never say no, I step up. And this is the same case on Saturday. Reminds me of what Natalie Brown was talking about in your most recent show. Anyway, I digress. Whenever I've been called upon for an opportunity, I never say no, I step up. Yes, that's what Natalie was saying. And this is the same case on Saturday. In terms of Saturday night, it's all about not missing the opportunity, but you never know. Fights can be great and they can turn out brilliantly, but let's see how this one's going to go. Absolutely, and we look forward to seeing that result. Moving over to a fight I've been talking about for several weeks, David Benavidez going toe-to-toe against David Lemieux. That's taking place at the Gila River Arena in Glendale, Arizona. Also tomorrow night, unbeaten two-time world champ David El Bandera Roja Benavidez and former world champion David Lemieux are going to go toe-to-toe, but today they went face-to-face at a final press conference. Here's what David Benavidez had to say. I've had a tremendous training camp and everything's been perfect. The miles have been run, the rounds have been sparred, and the weight has been lost. I've come in highly prepared for this fight. We both have a lot of knockouts, so I'm just looking forward to giving the fans a war. I want to go in there and earn this title. I have a lot of respect for Lemieux, and I've been watching him since I was young, but he's a lot to worry about with me. I'm faster, more robust, but he's got the experience, so this will be a great fight. I'm 100% focused on Lemieux. I'm focused on the task in front of me. I just want to take it one fight at a time. I like to put everything into the fight and figure out the rest later. I know Lemieux is very motivated for this fight, so my mind is 100% on him. For his part, David Lemieux said, when you want to become the world champion, you have to beat the very best guy out there right now. Benavidez stands in front of me. That's who I have to beat to be the world champion. Everybody knows that Benavidez is a good fighter, but I think people are going to see that I'm a serious contender in the super middleweight division when I get that belt around me. It's a big challenge, but I'm confident. We're ready physically and mentally. I had a tremendous training camp for this fight. Benavidez is a good fighter. It'll be a hell of a show for the fight fans because he doesn't like to do rounds, and I don't want to do games. We'll see what happens. I don't run away from anybody. I've never avoided any fight or any fighter. When I step in the ring, I'm the man to worry about. In this fight, there's a solid guy in front of me, but I'm confident in my abilities, strength, and power. We've had a tremendous training camp to prepare specifically for Benavidez. I'm very confident in this approach. I have experience in the ring, and I'm going to bring it Saturday night. Absolutely. And we all look forward to that result as well. Let's move along to Las Vegas for a fight taking place at Resorts World Event Center, also tomorrow night. Kazakhstan's next middleweight star, Janibek Alimkhanuly, has long called out world champions and 160-pound standouts. He finally gets a chance to win a belt this Saturday at Resorts World at Las Vegas when he takes on fellow unbeaten contender Danny Dignum for the vacant WBO interim middleweight world title. Janibek, by the way, is 11-0 with 7 knockouts. He's a 2016 Olympian, and he broke through in 2021 with knockout victories over former world champions Rob Brandt and Hazan Dazam. Dignum is 14-0-1 with 8 knockouts from Essex, England, has been the WBO European middleweight champion since knocking out Conrad Cummings in November of 2019. There's also another decent fight on this card, by the way. It's a 10-round co-feature featuring former junior lightweight world champion Jamel Semperfi Herring, and he's returning to the lightweight ranks against undefeated contender Jermaine the Technician Ortiz. He's 15-0-1 with 8 knockouts. Good stuff. Other names on this card include Tiger Johnson and Augustin Kacharski. It's going to be a good one. One to look out for. Finally, I just want to wrap up this episode, seeing it's Female Friday, according to my core, with a bit of news out of Britain concerning one of their fighters, a female by the name of Lisa Whiteside, who will relaunch her professional career with Probellum and is set on winning a world title for her young son, Jensen. Whiteside was a world-class amateur with Great Britain and England, boxing over 120 times and picking up medals at various international competitions before turning professional in 2019. But after 3 fights, the Chorley-born boxer stepped away from the sport to focus on becoming a mom, and she gave birth to a baby boy, Jensen, on Boxing Day 2020. Then a shoulder injury hampered comeback plans, but Whiteside is now ready to return to the ring, and having signed a promotional deal with Probellum, the 2018 Commonwealth Games gold medalist is set on grabbing world title chances, and quickly. The Mick Day trained Whiteside, who's 36 years old, will campaign at super bantamweight and says all she needs is one fight before being ready to start pushing for contests with Marilyn Rivas, Ségolène Lebrave, and other world title holders at 122 pounds. She said, "My goal is to become a world champion, and I believe Probellum, together with S-Jam Boxing, will put me in a position to get the fights I need. I've been out of boxing for almost 3 years because I've had a baby and then a shoulder injury, which put a spanner in the works. So I need to get that one fight under my belt, and after that, I'm ready to go. The drive to succeed that my son Jensen gives me to go and get that world title belt for him is incredible. I just want to make him super proud and bring home that world title," said Richard Schaefer, president of Probellum. "Lisa is yet another great addition to Probellum's stable of female fighters. Women's boxing has never been as popular or as packed with talent. There are huge fights to be made everywhere you look in the sport, and that is our focus with Lisa. Deliver her the big fights. She's a supremely talented amateur. She was a supremely talented amateur, and we know that she has a perfect style and attitude for the pros. Lisa is ready to fight anyone, anywhere, anytime." Right on. There we go, sports fans. That's it for today. Thank you very much for joining me here on Talkin' Fight. I'm later on this afternoon joining Mike Orr and Cedric Ban at 4 p.m. for the not knockout of the week, for Knuckle Up, and then 7 o'clock Eastern Time with Tim Witherson and some special guests as well. It's going to be a good action-packed Friday here on Talkin' Fight with lots of shows, lots of episodes in the wake of our great wake-up show where we featured the weigh-in from the Netherlands and David Rajuli. Good stuff. So we'll see you later on. Thank you very much for joining me. Remember to like, share, subscribe.